Hey y'all, Cami, your local lender here. Today I'm going to talk about the path to homeownership. Just a quick, brief overview of the entire process from application to purchase. So step number one, the home buying process is going to start with a pre-approval letter. So you're going to apply online or schedule a time to meet with me in person or over the phone where we can complete an application together. Once we get that application in, I will request supporting documentation and review the credit file along with your supporting documentation. Once I do that review, which generally can happen fairly quickly after I receive your supporting documents, I'm going to issue you what we call a pre-qualification email based on that review. But then I'm going to submit the whole file over to our underwriting department, and they will review to provide a pre-underwritten pre-approval. So basically, we're ensuring that you as a borrower are qualified for the home loan. The great thing about this is it helps to strengthen you as a borrower when you're going to put in that offer for a listing agent and a seller to know that an underwriter has already taken a look at your income and your finances to assure that you qualify for the home loan. Then step number two is going to be to make the offer on your dream home. So once we decide on financing and you get that pre-approval letter, you're going to meet with your real estate agent or broker and you're going to start shopping. If you're not working with a broker currently, I can happily provide you with a referral. I know some great agents in the area, so don't hesitate to ask. Once you make that offer and the seller has accepted, then your agent will provide me with the signed purchase and sales contract. So this is step number 3, is that I receive that signed purchase and sales agreement back, and I will issue you your initial document set to review and sign. This is issued electronically and it's a lot of documents. So review it carefully and don't forget to always ask questions. So signing these documents generally is just acknowledging that you have received them, but by the same token, don't hesitate to call me and ask me anything because I'm happy to go through them with you and kind of explain what they mean if there's anything that you're concerned about, or even if it's just something you don't understand. It's important to go into this process knowing how your loan is set up and what type of loan that you have. We will also lock your interest rate. So this is step number 4, and steps 3 and 4 can kind of happen simultaneously. Once you have signed your purchase and sales agreement and it's been signed by both parties, we can go ahead and lock your interest rate. You have the option to lock or float your interest rate at this point. A lock is going to protect you from any further rate increases. If rates seem to be on the rise, you can lock and you would be protected from any increases during your loan process. If you choose to float, you would be able to take advantage of a lower rate if rates were to drop, but also you wouldn't have that protection if rates were to increase. We do get to a point where if you don't lock your rate, it will cause a delay, but I will be sure to be in contact with you about that. Number 5, the underwriting and processing of the file. So underwriting is going to review your loan file and they'll set some conditions to clear on your file. So they'll say, we need updated this or that. If your pay stubs or bank statements or anything like that is out of date, we'll request updated ones. They will want to review title reports. They'll want to review an appraisal, all of those things. So they will kind of lay all of that out for me and for the processor. It's at this point that you'll really start hearing more from our processor. She will reach out to make sure that we've got everything we need for the file. Her and I work very closely together, so you'll be in good hands the whole way. Number 6, appraisal and preliminary title search and other verifications are ordered during the process. So we order that appraisal right away because we want to meet your close date, and if you're purchasing, we want to get this done as quickly as possible for you. The appraisal is a fee that we collect up front, and you can generally pay that through a link that will be sent to you. The appraiser will then coordinate with the listing agent on when they can go out, and you will receive a copy of the appraisal once it's been completed. The preliminary title search is completed through the title and escrow company, which is generally set up by the seller before your offer's even been accepted. So that's generally pretty quick. Our underwriting department will then review all of that and just make sure there's no red flags. Other verifications might be something like your tax transcripts or additional employment verifications, just to make sure everything is accurate. So we're collecting all of that, and then as they come in, the underwriter is reviewing and approving that it meets our standards. Contact your preferred insurance agent. If you don't already have an agency, we can help with that too. I or my team can coordinate you talking with an insurance broker or an agent that can provide some quotes for you. We will also coordinate the coverage that is needed and the start date that that the insurance will need to be effective so that you're covered from the date that you first own that property. Number 8, final approval. You were almost there. All pre-disclosures conditions have been met and you have final loan approval. We've reviewed everything and you are good to go. So now we are going to issue you a document called the closing disclosure. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the CD, closing disclosure. Now, this document is going to lay out it's not very long, but it's going to lay out in a very clear way what kind of loan you have. It's going to lay out the payment breakdown, so what your principal and interest monthly is going to be, what your homeowner's insurance is going to be, property taxes, mortgage insurance. It's going to lay out that whole breakdown. And then it'll also give you an itemized breakdown of the fees that are involved in the loan. Now, you'll have already gotten something similar at the beginning of the process, at which point it's referred to as the loan estimate. But at this point, this is kind of our final numbers that we've gotten. Once you receive that closing disclosure, you'll receive it electronically, and it's really important that you acknowledge it right away because that starts our clock. You cannot sign your final documents until 3 business days after you have acknowledged that closing disclosure. So now we're at the point where timing is really important. Once you've acknowledged that, we will send number 10, your final loan documents over to escrow. So an escrow officer will coordinate with us to balance all our final numbers and make sure everything matches, and then they will call you to coordinate your final signing. Oftentimes there's a mobile notary available that can meet you at your home or office if that's most convenient, or you can go into the actual escrow office and sign there. So your loan signing typically is going to take place a day or two before the actual funding of your loan. Once you sign those documents, they then have to make their way back to title and escrow, and then they have to make their way back to us so that everybody can review and ensure that we've got everything signed appropriately and that we're good to go. And then, so we will review all the loan documents. Now we're on number 12. We check for changes to your job status. We're going to do that final employment verification. We're going to check your credit profile. Since underwriting has cleared us to close, we're just going to double check everything and make sure nothing has changed. And then after we've reviewed everything, number 13, funds are transferred to escrow and your deed is recorded at the county in public records. So normally this happens in the afternoon, normally later in the afternoon. And then once we've recorded with the county, number 14, closing, welcome home. Your real estate agent will coordinate with you to get you the keys to the house. And you are now a proud homeowner. So very exciting. All right. Again, any questions about this process, please feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a DM, give me a call. I'm always happy to chat. So thank you so much. Have a great day.